people in Los Angeles had a distrust of the court system.
You think?
You mean after?
I know, before, after, during.
During? Still? What's going on? It's your boy Syntell with the Intel, and I'm here with the beautiful Mikel-Claire.
We're not ready.
Yo, the trauma continues. Oh my gosh, this has been one of the most requested things in the comment section, and that is the Netflix documentary on the Menendez Brothers. Hopefully we can get some truth. Make sure you stay to the very end because you already know me and Mikel-Claire. We're going to chop it up, have a bit of a back and forth, if you will, over the things we've enjoyed and over the things we may be scratching our heads about. And I'm sure there will be a lot of head scratching. So without any further ado, let's get started. Thanks, Netflix. Hey, this has kind of been a long time coming. Like from the time we did our very first episode on the Netflix series, everybody's like, what you doing? Do the documentary.
Yes.
Don't waste your time.
Oh my gosh, you're talking a lot and I'm starting to focus on this.
What's the problem? I'm trying to kill my parents.
Oh my gosh.
Were they shot? Hey, Matthew.
Oh, and then they just hung up like that?
Over 30 years, I've processed so much of it and still have my heart beating.
Oh.
Wow.
Part of Erik and I died on that night.
Did it?
Your parental part. Your parents.
Yeah. 34
2023.
years later.
2023.
Okay.
So that's last year.
Yeah.
Calling you from the Donovan Correctional Facility, and
Okay.
I am 51 years old.
Wow.
Dang.
My name is Lyle Menendez. I am 55 years old now.
Wow. So much time has passed since we last saw them on. Hey, he let the body go. Since
Yeah.
you saw the
Excerpts
series.
from over 20 hours of interviews with the Menendez Brothers while they serve a life sentence without parole. And Erik have not told their story together in nearly 30 years.
Wow.
Oh, that's fascinating, I
It
guess.
is.
I mean, because why would they have the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to live that much longer.
You're only
So
50,
much I've been
51.
told
I'm not gonna live that much longer.
Yeah.
doesn't help anyone.
Okay.
Those horrible events
Ugh.
bonded us in a way that
Trauma bonding. Yeah, trauma bonding.
Just felt bonded, almost like we're not twins, but we felt like it.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Family secrets, things from our past. It's been
Yeah, the score.
of incarceration.
That's a long time.
Where people now can understand and believe.
I don't know about that. I think
Wow.
it's fascinating that because of the series, now this is coming out.
Oh yeah, because we are so biased
Yeah.
based on the series. So I'm curious to see what the truthful parts of these elements are.
Well, they're going to portray it how they want. Skew it.
Alive, chic, and sophisticated.
Surprised they're not playing the Low Vanilli up in this piece.
Greed is good.
90210 is one of the most exclusive zip codes.
Oh, I thought she was about to talk about the show. You remember 90210?
Oh, I certainly do.
Murders don't happen in Beverly Hills, and then two boys don't kill their parents. And
If they do, they probably cover it up. I mean, come on
That
now.
part.
Real talk.
Okay. You like it so far? The presentation so far?
I'm interested. I'm just interested to find out the story as told by the documentary producers.
It's not supposed to happen in Beverly Hills. A movie executive and his wife. $1 million mansion. There were no clues and no suspects.
No suspects, huh?
The bodies of José Menendez and his wife, Kitty, were found inside their Elm Drive home.
Do they look like you pictured? Oh, that she's still alive, huh?
Easy feeling living in the neighborhood where something like this has happened so close to home.
I know. I just can't right now.
The back of his skull had been blown off, and while they were there, his brains fell out on the floor.
Wow.
Okay.
And blood dripping from the ceiling.
Oh, the ceiling, huh?
Damn.
Shotguns are, do horrible damage to a human body.
Especially close range, right?
Yeah.
There were no shells. Somebody had picked up all of the shells from the shotgun casings.
But what happened to the shells?
Remember?
I'm not-
Yeah.
He said it like 5 times. I was just messing with you.
Out in front of the house, they were hysterical. They were overacting. They were not treated as suspects by the investigators at the beginning.
Of course they weren't.
We had no alibi. The gunpowder residue was all over our hands.
Yeah, but y'all are rich.
Yeah, in Beverly Hills.
A completely broken and shattered state of mind. I was shell-shocked.
That's
one way
interesting
to put it.
choice of words.
I thought that too.
Customer service.
I have no words right now for that. I was shell-shocked. Okay.
Erik Menendez, it's now 4:20 a.m.
Hey, the magical number. That's the adrenaline was pumping. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of smoke in the room. The room was like...
Remember they said the smoke thing, and they were like, how's there smoke when the window's open?
I told the detectives that I saw smoke, which would have been impossible if I didn't do it. It's pretty incredible. We were not arrested that night.
That's not incredible. That's exactly
Yeah.
how I think it would go down with wealthy folks.
I'm like, why do you keep saying that?
Well, I really shot people. I just assumed.
I thought they had practice at the shooting range.
Yeah, I locked it down.
No, this is him talking to the detective when he first...
Right, exactly. So that makes that interesting too, that he kind of knew what it was, even though he had never smelled it before.
Incredible acts of violence. You have attention here.
Do you?
And I
Dang.
have written a book about the entire trial.
Of course you have.
Oh, yeah.
Of course you have.
A few books, I'm sure.
Everyone's written a book.
This is so strange. How can they be living here after this terrible...
Right? In the same house with the same stuff in the room.
Lyle Menendez did 90% of the talking the first day that I met with the...
I believe that. Yeah. And he was older, too.
Yeah.
Asked me if I would like to work with the brothers on a book about their father. They thought he was such a great man.
They're all about the books. Remember that?
Really like the Kennedys, that Jose was going to move to Miami and run for the U.S. Senate.
The Kennedys, yeah, no.
He and Erik would like to carry out their father's plans.
And it would be nice if I was senator and he was president.
Oh, my goodness.
For us to try to get Cuba territory.
He's telling me these grandiose plans.
And Cuba as a territory.
Senator and the president.
And having these meetings, we're in no emotional condition to be meeting with anyone.
I agree with that. Or to be meeting with each other so much.
Father helping direct my life. I was quite lost.
But whose fault was that? I'm sorry. I just...
Erik would be crying and we would comfort each other. And I spent a lot of time at my parents' gravesite.
Did you?
You know.
When did he have time to spend a lot of time at the gravesite?
I don't know. In between him counting his checks.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Lyle hired these bodyguards, saying he feared for his own life because his father had a lot of business enemies.
I remember that.
Their behavior after the murders was startling. They went shopping. Now,
who doesn't?
Fresh off of death.
Wrangler, 3 Rolexes. Ching, 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 ching. Spending money.
Why 3 Rolexes when there's only 2 of them?
To help him turn pro.
Lyle bought a Porsche, expensive clothes, and a restaurant near the family's...
Okay.
Everything was to cover up this horrible pain.
There's some truth to that. I can believe that. A hint, yeah.
One of the things that kept me from killing myself is that I felt like I would be a complete failure to my dad at that point.
I don't know how I feel about that. We'll have to talk about that.
I was not enjoying myself as a playboy, that I was actually...
I wonder if that's Jamie or Norma.
Reminds me.
the thing is, when you have a homicide inside a house, 98% of the time it's someone you know. It's a relative.
And the way that they were shot.
That brothers, even though they told the police, they thought it was a mafia hit.
So they did tell them that.
Yeah.
Finally, the
then
investigators
Judalon
ended up in San Diego.
I can't wait till they get to her.
Lyle Menendez's roommate's stolen ID card.
Dang, they stole it?
Have never been found, but authorities say they believe...
Oh, because they buried them.
Chucked them in the water or something, yeah.
No, we saw them bury them in the dirt.
Father, Maria, Louise, Kitty Menendez, and José and Ricky Menendez.
Enrique?
Enrique.
It's probably Enrique.
Oh, that's probably exactly what it is.
Cornering the car on the road like I was a fugitive. fugitive drug dealer or something.
You were a murderer, homie.
Younger brother Erik's reportedly returning from an overseas trip to surrender.
Yeah, I was coming back from Greece or somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And the detectives put handcuffs on me. Everything changed. It was an ending of my life.
A little bit. Well, actually, the ending of your life at that point is when you pulled the trigger.
And I had no idea of what was going to come.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't understand the naivete.
I mean, pampered kids.
But you don't know what happens when you murder somebody?
The bizarre twist to a sensational California murder.
They should suffer just like their parents did.
Public opinion, remember?
And this is before internet.
That's true.
Yeah, which is...
Pleaded not guilty to charges they killed their wealthy parents.
The arrest of Lyle and Erik Menendez for the shot.
Yeah, I missed all of this. I was busy doing other stuff.
Well,
yeah.
We were young. We weren't like trying to hear about this murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To tell me they were arrested. And I went around my office.
Jose's secretary called her. Remember how she was in them?
Lyle Menendez initially told all the family members, this was a big misunderstanding.
Him in that wig.
I know. I can't stop looking at it.
Can't stop not thinking about it.
Can't.
Family members, including Lyle and
She
Erik's
looks the same
grandmother,
age.
believe in the brother's innocence.
Oh, that's the grandmother.
Yeah. Oh, she's been gone, I'm sure.
Yeah, I thought it was. She looks like the sister.
And I certainly wasn't going to be.
Oh, Grandma Touchy, huh?
Spiral out of control. Erik was an emotional wreck.
There's the glasses that she had him wear for no reason.
No prescription have himself.
It's going to be a media spectacle from the very beginning.
What do you expect, though? I'm so confused. I'm so confused right now. 3 years and
later.
3 months later.
Begins in a murder trial, and it's not
And
your
it took him
ordinary
3
case.
years.
Lyle Menendez.
Did it all together.
Before they went to trial.
Their parents. Come on, I got the answer. He's gonna get a shot.
There's the attorney.
They did some great casting
Yeah,
for
I
her.
thought that too. For a lot of these people, actually.
I knew that this was going to be a career maker.
See, I think that's a lot of people.
Straw, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Of having read everything in newspapers and in magazines.
That bias was already established then.
Yeah, that's everybody, I'm sure.
I didn't think that was possible because I thought that had happened years earlier.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Can you imagine?
Walk into the courtroom, I knew for sure that it was. I'd never seen a murderer before. As far as I knew.
She looked like she's still
fascinating.
excited about it. Yeah.
The first televised celebrity trials. The trial was on a new cable TV channel called Court TV.
Oh, I remember Court TV.
It's still out there, isn't it?
I don't know if Court TV's still out. It may be. It could be. Y'all let us know in the chat if Court TV's still a thing.
Some form of it.
Yeah.
You have every ingredient you could possibly want.
I can't get over that toupee.
You've got murder.
Okay, let me focus.
And then you've got one other ingredient. It's now on television.
Yeah, so it's like it's a show.
Why aren't you nervous today? I think it's because I know this case so well. I've lived this case. I've lived their lives for 3.5 years.
That casting is very good.
Yeah.
Brainy woman with the
Dan Rather
style.
Brash and in-your-face style.
An Annie lookalike is 104 pounds of pure dynamite.
104 pounds. She is very petite.
Mark Audacity has helped her save a dozen people from death row.
Trademark Audacity.
From the moment she started.
If I told you what I really thought of Leslie Abramson,
Is that dog alive?
Yes.
and I'm not giving up my house.
Dang.
She turned out to be remarkably skillful. Very graceful.
Until that money ran out. Till that money ran out.
Fascinating. They were just these dumb jock killers.
Tell us how you really feel.
Spoken like the prosecution.
Was following the acquittal of 4 police officers charged in the beating of Rodney.
Absolutely remember this.
Oh, I do too.
People in Los Angeles had a distrust of the court system.
You
What you mean after?
I know, before, after, during.
During? Still?
And I went in the bathroom and threw up. The only time I've ever thrown up during a trial or before.
Is she the one that was talking to the Vanity Fair guy in the series? The little brown-haired girl. That's what she just.
Oh,
the prosecutor.
Bozanichi?
Yeah, the prosecutor.
Prosecution and then the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning.
I think so.
Anticipate the evidence will show. On September the 8th of 1989,
look at Leslie.
we will prove to you that Lyle Menendez planned this murder and then set off to spend the money.
Okay, so they think he planned it.
And that but for a few mistakes they made, this was almost the perfect murder.
What? Perfect? Okay.
I mean,
they were afraid of José Menendez, and they were afraid of Kitty Menendez.
They don't look like they have a lot of emotion.
Yeah, they don't look trustworthy at all.
I mean,
She was threatening to poison the family. A crazy woman got even crazier.
Goodness gracious, a crazy woman.
For parents who could kill their children.
They didn't believe in mental health back then, did they?
Well, it was definitely looked at differently.
I see that.
Because his parents were wealthy, the prosecution tells you he did it for the money.
I don't understand how that.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense if you're talking to the jurors that they selected.
I guess.
Do everything, make good, wonderful American success story. If you only saw the surface story.
Things are very rarely what they seem. Havana, Cuba, 1944.
The elite, they were doctors and lawyers and
oh, nice.
bloodline going all the way back to Spain.
Wow.
Ah, they were those kind of Cubans.
Rich.
Yes.
Sort of pristine, dreamlike life in Cuba.
So why did he move here?
Castro.
Oh.
Born into a wealthy family, but lost everything through the revolution in Cuba.
Okay.
There you go, Castro. That is why there are a very large number of Cubans in Miami. And you know the story, Scarface? Kind of deals as the repercussions of that.
People were either afraid of or...
Charm and charisma.
Yeah.
This guy came from money.
I mean, they said he was a charismatic guy.
The father is everything.
If that's not an 80s song. Of
Hey,
course they show
from one
OJ.
killer to another.
Of course they show AJ.
Oh, he hired OJ too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
The lives of very significant stars.
Oh, Hall & Oates.
Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton helped create Menudo.
Okay, so he did help with Menudo. This seems
Yeah,
so
flashbacks?
cheesy. No, it just seems so cheesy now. But at the time, Menudo was, Menudo. They were boy band extraordinaire, but right now I'm like...
This was the perfect all-American family. And behind the gates of that mansion, it was a different story.
I mean, that's a lot of family. I mean, not to this extent, let's be real. But there's always this facade, right?
Any reason other than something.
There's some logic to that. I could see that.
I mean, I can
Unless you just
understand.
want it like now. I need the money now. Just now.
Yeah, I mean, they're young teenage boys. You never know. I got to hear the more story before I can decide.
The Hollywood people would have gone, no way. When Erik was a juvenile, he'd been involved in a burglary.
Oh, the therapist.
And then after the murders, he had started to see him again.
I and any therapist carries with
Oh my gosh, this
Look
is
at
him. This is him.
people's secrets.
This
And it is it's a sacred obligation.
I want to see Judalon so I can put them together.
I got to see the real one, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Heard as Erik Menendez arrived at your office?
Erik came in
This dude. Come on, man. Let that puff go.
extremely depressed.
I can't believe
Lost a
what
lot
he
of weight.
did, though.
He had
How he was trying to give him that card for his business.
They couldn't find a way not to include her in the plan. The mother would have been a witness, number one.
They could have waited when she was gone.
Oziel goes into this really sick plan.
You guys say you killed your parents. It wasn't like he was like, oh, this is terrible, let me help you.
Look at that old recorder.
That's what a normal therapist would do. Dr. Oziel is right into blackmail.
He's described his demeanor when he came
Yep.
into the office.
Trying to get paid.
Yep.
Saying that everything that Erik told him he would relay to my father.
Oh my gosh.
Dr. Oziel signed a document to that effect.
What?
My father chose this sleazy psychologist.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't do that.
Psychologist who'd be willing to waive confidentiality so his son couldn't actually confide in the document.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now, how do we kill Oziel?
No, I never threatened Dr. Oziel. I don't go around threatening people. The violence in my life.
What?
Until
Told people.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
And his wife what had happened.
She's Judalon Smyth.
Oh,
Hey, there go Judalon.
Okay, Judalon.
The girlfriend then goes to the police because she confessed that they did it and they threatened to kill him. It was an aside.
I tried to give the information that I had that would
She saw that hustle.
Judalon.
them to be able to make an arrest.
Judalon Smyth was originally a patient.
She's so excited. She's
Right there.
never, yeah, she's on TV.
Oh yeah, she's having herself a good time.
She really
forced me to stay in his home against my will.
Oh
He
my
threatened
gosh.
my life.
Maybe he did.
To stay in somebody else's home.
Yeah, he threatened her.
And then to keep her quiet, he drugged her and kept her hostage, essentially.
At his own home.
Not only in terms of testimony, but in terms of people really act like this.
In Beverly Hills.
Released a statement that said Erik and Lyle Menendez had tried to escape that morning.
Oh.
Remember when they wrote out the plan on the napkin?
Yeah. Suspect tries to escape.
And at the end of the letter, Lyle had written in big letters, "Destroy this after you read it."
Please destroy.
And you spelled destroy wrong.
Oh, I missed it.
What he did in that letter in person, it was easier for him to put it on paper.
Was it? That's because you guys weren't near each other.
Be like killing my parents again.
They're already gone.
Because they had that note, they had a confession.
I thought they already knew that.
To destroy that letter. But it was a precious letter to me,
Oh my gosh.
really expressing his own pain. And I didn't want to just...
So you just kept the evidence, huh?
That didn't happen often between us.
So you kept it. That is insane.
As a result of them finding this letter, we now had to confess to everyone.
You think?
And having them
And
have
he-
to relive
He wrote it 3 years later.
a parent's death, but now knowing that we were responsible.
They didn't know for 3 years?
One time, Jose put Lyle on a kitchen counter and let him fall to the ground, telling him that you can never trust anybody.
Wow, that's so messed up.
Trust fall.
Dang, worst fall. That's awful.
And what happened after that?
Jose hit Lyle with his closed fist.
Hey.
Jose Menendez was a really awful man, okay? And he raised 2 sons capable of murder. So there you go.
She's fascinating to me. She's fascinating.
And he kept on yelling at the kid, and of course, Erik would cry more.
Took pictures of it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This on more
He
than one
was
occasion
2?
during that week. Yes, I saw it twice on that week.
Mean just to be mean?
I guess so.
It was a mini Rorschach, I guess you could say, to have him draw it out. And I think it was helpful for him. Put it on paper. Because he hadn't really talked about this.
And this is to Erik, right?
Yeah.
In time,
The color being picked, the red, all that red.
I noticed that
too.
They'll give their version of why they admittedly fired 15 shotgun blasts into their parents.
15. Ooh, that's personal.
That's a lot.
Begin telling that much-awaited story by the end of the week.
That is so personal.
Here we go. Lyle.
Oh,
Lyle.
this is that moment.
And that my dad has to punish me when I do things wrong. She told me that he loved me.
When this was going on, did you do something to your brother?
Do you believe it?
I don't know yet still, to be honest with you. We'll have to talk about that after. Do you?
I believe that these events probably did happen based off of his emotion. Even if it is fake and he's still pulling from somewhere. I don't know.
Erik his reaction seems more credible than Lyle's right now.
Yeah.
He had never said he was sorry
See,
to me before.
you know, I think there's some hints of truth in a lot of this craziness and untruths.
It was very novel. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what I thought. I thought, oh shit. That sums it all up. Because it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Will convince jury members the brothers truly feared for their lives, killing their parents in self-defense.
It makes sense.
Los Angeles County Jail.
How long have you lived there?
3.5 years.
That's a long time to be in jail.
My dad had been molesting me.
How about that? Is that more believable than Lyle?
He stormed out of that room.
So what happened next?
He came back with the knife.
Oh.
That accelerated.
Menendez is a...
I think it's like that. It's
Yeah.
not bigger. I mean, I remember it being huge.
Like a machete?
Did he threaten you with it?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said I should kill you, and next time I will.
That just doesn't sound believable, though, especially when you're looking at him as he's saying it.
And if you think about the self-defense thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had this wooden, it was about this long, and it had a little knob at the end, and it was...
See, it was like I believed the last part of the last testimony, but now I feel like this part seems a little more
What part
not
of
believable
the body were you
in
supposed
his
to use this thing on?
telling of it.
Yeah, it's. If I'd have just heard it,
Yeah.
and not seen it, maybe I'd feel a bit.
And he said, what's going to happen if you tell someone? And I said, you'll kill me. And he said, right.
Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen, but the beginning of that, it just, I don't know. It's his face. It's the way he's telling it. There's a disconnect.
Not
yeah.
very credible, right?
Yeah.
Executive was not looked upon as the kind of person who would sexually abuse their children.
There's no type.
Well-dressed, white
Isn't that
guys
crazy?
just
That they
doesn't
think that?
match. The public's...
Well, and here's the best part. They're Cuban. Here comes the public opinion.
Psychological manipulation.
Oh, even Oprah?
Wealthy young men in sweaters crying on the stand.
The sweater defense is so pathetic.
Sweater and glasses.
Why didn't the Menendez brothers leave? They'd grown up. They should have left the house if they were being abused.
Now that I don't know because
A lot of court TV.
They'll leave the house.
yeah, because people stay with.
I don't get a chance to watch much.
in
Abusive
relationships. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tonight Show and said, "Can you please stop?" That didn't go anywhere, but couldn't help myself.
Let's think about fame.
Yeah, I mean, infamy and fame, right?
Made me wonder again. You know, maybe I wasn't wrong then.
It's fascinating.
7 days before the murder.
Father. But the father told him, you're not going to Stanford, you're going to UCLA.
No, it's Erik, yeah.
Yeah.
Important to understand why that was so traumatic.
Because he couldn't get away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some freedom.
Yeah.
When my father told me, no, that you are not getting away from it was, up until that moment, the most devastating moment of my life.
Feeling trapped, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right? All hope gone at that point, right?
Yeah. Makes you desperate.
He could tell me, what is it? And he told me that those things with his dad were still going on.
Did he say with
His dad? Yeah, the disassociation. Yeah.
And basically trying to think about what we could do.
Do you think he knew that his dad was still doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kitty revealed that she had known about Erik, the abuse, all the time. She had known everything that had been going on, and she hadn't done anything to protect her.
That part.
Those are very unrealistic.
And the way he said that, I believe that he believed that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he expected to happen. I mean, especially like no consequence. There's some consequences.
Lyle had a confrontation with my mom. So Lyle and I were...
My mom. See that? My mom, his dad.
that he was scared. Lyle, at this point, believed that our parents could kill us.
I think what's interesting is that they don't have any interaction with one another, and you're only getting one side without them being together, so they can corroborate their story. Seemingly.
You mean like in modern day time?
Yeah, well, for this documentary.
Yeah, for modern day. Okay.
Our idea was just to get the guns. That was what we wanted to do on.
The sweaters are a little.
This jarring.
Yeah, it's over the top. Yeah.
We had the ammunition, and we were just loading as fast as possible.
15 though?
I started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
What was in front of you?
Them.
My parents.
Yeah. 15 though?
I ran around and shot my mom.
Ugh.
Did you shoot her?
In the head?
In the face.
I just reached over and I shot her close.
You all right?
Where did you go from there?
I think we went to the movie theater.
To try to get tickets.
Yeah.
And get tickets. And then we also decided we obviously had to get rid of the guns. We came out of the house, and they just took over.
It's like when they're talking about those parts of it, though, like the actual what happened events.
They disassociate?
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah. It's not really them that did it, it's something else.
Yeah.
But I think that's a part of like the lawyer's coaching to make it seem like it's not a personal thing. I don't know. It could be a tactic is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
At this time, Erik Menendez defense rests.
In regards to the
56 witnesses
say it was self-defense. Well, it wasn't from a legal perspective.
That's what I thought.
The defendants believe that they were about to be assaulted
Yeah.
in a serious manner, and they responded in order to protect.
Like in an immediate, right?
Looking at it as if it was a motion picture, would have said, well, that's not reasonable.
At that very moment, but mistaken, that they kill in imperfect self-defense.
Acted unreasonably, but in an honest fear that their father was going to.
Then it's like manslaughter instead of it being like first degree.
From murder down to what we call voluntary manslaughter.
Yeah.
Any person, if they lived my life, I don't see how they couldn't have believed that they were about to die.
I don't know what it wouldn't necessarily be in that moment though.
Well, here's the thing. If you are that type of frightened, that type of terrified, you will do irrational things in order to self-preserve, right?
Yeah.
And that act, I don't think that's out of the realms of believability. Now, do I think they did that without it being? No. But I get the concept.
Oh, I get the concept, just
Yeah.
not in their situation. They didn't say
Why
that.
I didn't run away was a central part of talk.
Not everybody runs.
They say, well, you had the opportunity to leave, you had an opportunity.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that all the time.
The idea had been whipped, beaten, and trained into my brain,
For-
programmed into my brain.
For 18 years. Yeah.
People were sitting there watching television, and they got slaughtered by their sons.
Like, that's a fact.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The defense is going to try to tell you that the duck in this case is really a donkey, but that's not correct.
Whole defense was fabricated.
Wow.
But it was fabricated. And if I were an immoral person, I would have fabricated it much the same way.
You need to decide
I like
what was going
her,
on.
Yeah.
her
in Erik and Lyle
brashness.
Menendez.
I feel like they didn't focus on her enough in the series.
They didn't.
Yeah.
Or maybe she wasn't the way she is now.
Yeah.
Then. I mean, that was quite a while ago.
Because that is an unreasonable killing in good faith.
I'm not buying manslaughter.
To you that is what has occurred here.
Not for them.
Or manslaughter, under which they would have served some significantly reduced
Yeah. 5-6 years.
5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And so that's what the defense was really going for.
Murder,
That
because
her,
everything we have
boy,
told
I
you is
just
not
But that was the style back then.
that.
It was. I remember that style.
than what we say.
I mean, it looks crazy on her.
Yeah, I was about to say I remember a perm, but that's
It is a killing that resulted
Damaged
from
hair.
the things that we have told you about.
and that it
I'm not mad at the defense.
fear. And if that
It's a
is
good
true, there is
place to build on.
only be manslaughter.
I mean,
But I just don't. The brothers didn't sell it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that that's their job.
Yeah.
I get that.
Did they do what they
like
set
a
out to do you think?
Puritan.
She fresh off churning some butter.
The murders in their case, which had to do with everything.
She was in the back like.
Look, she even got on, she even got on pearls. What is she doing over here?
And
she was good for a headband too, I've noticed. Jury is out.
Wasn't even a trial of guilt or innocence because the boys
were guilty. Yeah.
It was a question of degree.
Yeah, the degree. Yeah.
If even one juror doesn't agree in a criminal case, there's no verdict. Either way, and you might have to retry the case again.
Jurors back at work at about 1 p.m.
The Menendez trial in Los Angeles.
That would be difficult to get everybody. It's hard enough to get like two people to
It's
agree
hard
on
enough to
something.
get. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. You and I to agree on this case.
All of the men raised their hands in favor of first-degree murder.
The men instantly voted for murder.
Because they looked them dead in their eyes and was like,
Well, I mean, they did kill them. I mean, that's the thing. I'm like,
and the women were more.
they understood the
empathetic
story. Yeah.
In terms of understanding.
The story. Yeah. Yeah.
The way that Erik had been raised and handled and treated that way.
Just Erik, huh?
His only way of having a better life was to have one without a parents.
I think it's very interesting that all the women voted one way and all the men voted another way. There's an interesting conversation in
yeah, we can talk about that after.
About coming to some kind of a conclusion about this.
Look at the
I remember those
all the
chairs.
media. Was that Johnny Cochran? Did you see Johnny Cochran?
It probably was.
It was.
Yeah, he
said, okay, but try again. And we did try.
Cameo.
There was a lot of anxiety. I had no idea what the jury was thinking.
We deliberated for a month.
Damn, a month.
Dang. What is she doing?
Get away from this area here.
Oh.
Hey, back.
She is something.
Just read it into the record. We remain deadlocked since our last report to you on any of the counts. If anything, we have become more entrenched in our positions. The poll taken this morning shows that the jury believes there is no reasonable probability of our reaching a verdict.
Mistrial.
That the jury is hopelessly deadlocked and declares a mistrial.
Dang.
The jurors in the Lyle Menendez murder trial have told the jury they are unable to reach a verdict, hopelessly deadlocked.
Dang.
We all did. I felt like, in a way, it had been a big waste of time.
Wow, that was her.
Yeah. Means 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Prosecutors in this case understand, in hindsight, that they lost control of the trial.
Okay, I didn't lose in the sense that they didn't go home, but I didn't win, and that was hard.
There was no thought that I would just go home.
Right.
15 years in prison, or I would spend 50. I had no idea.
Or 100.
I imagined it meant that I had to do the trial all over.
It may as well not have happened. Like it was just crushing.
Yeah. He looks like the eagle from the Muppets.
That's not a bad call.
Had they come back with voluntary manslaughter, you would have seen an entirely different reaction from me because I would have been utterly disappointed.
To retry this case, I'd rather eat ground glass for a year, and that's how I felt.
I have every intention of going forward with the death penalty, yes.
She was done.
Yeah.
Intellectually debilitating
Yeah.
process.
She was like, that's it for me.
It was very, very difficult.
I love me more than this. Yeah.
Do you feel this is a victory for you?
No, I've already expressed my views on that point. A victory is when my client is free.
Free?
Mistrials were declared at the end of January of 94.
But you already knew they weren't going to be free.
Abramson was arrested in June of 94.
The juice was loose.
They really about to do this?
Police on a dramatic chase through the city. He's scheduled to be arraigned early next week on charges of murder.
I remember that way more than I remember the Menendez
Oh,
case.
yeah, absolutely. It's not even close. What was it, Menendez, huh? Whatever.
Yeah.
OJ.
I remember
We did the
all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Public had kind of forgotten about Erik
Yeah.
Menendez.
This OJ.
It's being called the trial of the century.
Johnny Cochran.
Probably that's the weirdest reconnect. Nobody does it better than her.
Your daddy hired him.
I hired him, and then met him again. We was arrested. They tried.
Dang. How'd you meet him at the county jail? Oh,
Remember they
'cause
showed it in the movie?
Oh, Erik was in the celebrity part of the prison, they said.
It's on a different floor. He was bored.
Celebrity part of the prison.
Talk on the phone.
I can't with that.
Norma Novelli is talking about a controversial new book she's writing about Lyle Menendez.
Norma.
A former confidant
Oh,
of
yeah.
Lyle's claims she
Oh,
talked
yeah.
with him extensively.
They didn't have a character for her.
No,
All
they
you saw
didn't.
was her hands.
Yep.
That was it.
Well, he showed a picture of his girlfriend, but we didn't.
You're not gonna scandalize.
Norma Novelli taped conversations with Lyle over a
course she 2.5
year period.
2.5 years. 2.5 years. That's a long time.
Oh, sure. So you're going to be just as convincing.
Oh yeah, well, there's no problem for me. I mean, I can do that.
Context, though.
Yeah. I mean, that
know.
didn't seem very.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of damning evidence in there, though, still.
I believe that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
Credibility problem here with this witness.
It turned out none of the tapes were ever admitted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collect some, no. Actually, it's just Lyle.
Because you don't know the context. Yeah.
Back and went to a bar to pick up guys.
I think she had a crush on Lyle.
Yeah, she's certainly
The late 50s, and Lyle was in his 20s.
Oh, she was in her 50s.
She was getting her cougar on.
She was getting her book on.
At some point, she became disenchanted because of his interest in other women.
Mm.
In the end, there was no real situation. There's a misconception that her tape recording had some factor in it.
Now that I don't believe. It could absolutely have a factor.
Oh, so then.
Oh, they made the tapes public.
And then Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
The juice is loose.
No, I said this is bad for the boys and everybody else. It's going to be payback time.
Yeah, I think she's right on that, though.
A backlash against high-profile defendants. We got washed in the wake of that.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean,
Because public opinion on the wealthy getting away with crimes?
I get that, but it was so. I don't know. I mean, I think it did affect opinion. Yes. Yes. However, this was like 6 years later.
Timing on the second trial, given that OJ had just been acquitted, is responsible for the different approach taken by the prosecution.
And humiliated by the lack of verdicts in the first Menendez trial. People were calling into radio stations.
He do look like the type to be fed up. Look at this dude.
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
Judge asked us to disregard anything that we knew coming in.
You know
I
everything.
really didn't know what arguments had been made in the first trial and what.
Oh, the arguments and evidence and all that. Yeah. I could understand not knowing that because I never
Says he
knew.
will limit the number of experts and witnesses called to support.
Yeah, because they had 56 before.
So the battered women syndrome doesn't apply.
What?
It's not relevant.
Nah, that's whack.
She was screaming and yelling. It's one thing to be biased, but
Mm-hmm.
to let your bias affect your judicial decision.
Surprised he doesn't just take out a rifle in the courtroom and shoot him.
Wow. That could be contempt.
She's a lot. That's, like I said,
There was no television.
Not a
When there's a
fan.
camera in the courtroom, it changes the dynamic.
I believe that.
Absolutely.
Thought that this should be.
If there's a
just
camera
matter
anywhere,
for the
it
jury
changes the
rather than for a
dynamic.
national audience.
Don't you think?
No. Say that again.
If there's a camera anywhere, it changes the dynamic.
Absolutely.
They hadn't heard any of my family testifying. None of the relatives. admitted. So it was just me cold up on the stand.
Yeah, and he's not.
He ain't
he's
really built for that.
Yeah.
Lyle has suffered sexual abuse from his father. That's evidence that just can't be kept down. It just can't. But it was.
Yeah, that was a horrible decision.
Did not give the jury the option of finding manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Their choices are basically murder or nothing.
Yeah.
The prosecution has to prove that the elements of the crime were committed, and the prosecution did that.
Yeah, that's what their job is.
Yeah. Judge is sick of it.
Authority apply.
Let's be candid. Once the main theory of defense doesn't go to the jury, the case is over.
Yeah.
As an option or no crime whatsoever, we voted unanimously to convict.
Yeah, because no crime whatsoever. If those are your only two choices?
For a jury to convict Erik and Lyle Menendez of first-degree murder with special circumstances.
With special circumstances.
A fist thrust into the air. A much-needed victory for the DA after losing the O.J. Simpson case.
Oh, politics got involved a lot, I bet. Oh, yeah.
Horrible crime happened, and what they did was horrible. There was other things, there are good things about them that warrant their life.
I don't think they should have been executed, but life, yeah. Life is worse.
That's why, I always think that. They're always like, oh, you got life. I'm like, that's not necessarily.
You have to endure over,
Yeah. I thought they got double life sentences. Well, that's what the series said. But that's, obviously it's more accurate.
The infamous brothers. Tonight, for the very first time out of
Barbara
court,
Walters.
you will hear their story. Tonight, watching our...
I can't lie. I used to love me some 2020 back in the day. I used to
it
watch
was very informative.
That is what's gotten us through these 6 years.
There's a good probability I will never see him again.
Was to try to plead that they not separate us and show how much we did not want that to happen.
I probably did nothing but throw fire on it.
Yeah,
and ensure that it didn't.
And they don't really have a say in that.
We had 2 maximum security prisons.
Yeah.
These were very restrictive, violent prisons.
Yeah.
I was afraid that I'd never be able to see him again.
I mean,
Brothers took an appeal to the federal court system.
The fact that they're like, I thought we were going to be together. We weren't. We were put in separate. I'm like, I feel for them a little bit because they're brothers, but I'm like, yo, family members are in separate prisons all over the country. You think you're going to get some kind of kindness?
They wealthy.
My only brother, my only sibling, I may never be able to give him a hug again.
I can't. I so much I want to say, but I'm still trying to pay attention to what's happening.
This must be modern. Yeah.
Yeah.
A sense of mental freedom.
Art was a
Oh yeah, they did say he was an artist.
spiritual healing means to express myself.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was curious that that's what they showed, though. I figured there'd be more
talent for painting. Before that, he was lucky to even draw stick figures.
Well, we saw his Rorschach test kind of thing. His drawing. It was all stickmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Big rolled up paper came.
That's pretty.
I opened it and it was a beautiful oil painting.
Did you buy that from him?
I think he gifted it to her.
Isn't she a juror? Like, what is he? I don't understand.
Fear.
The Beverly Hills brothers, convicted of killing their parents, have been reunited.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Menendez moved into the same housing unit as his brother Lyle.
Didn't know that.
Oh.
And it was starting on that day.
I wonder how they made that happen.
And suddenly, this prayer of being able to see my brother again was being.
And how long ago it was? I didn't see that. Did you?
It was really in large part because of the change in societal attitudes about the case and child sexual abuse of boys.
That's why they are in the same prison together?
Each one is holding a picture of themselves at the age when they say they were first sexually abused.
It happens a lot more often than people care to admit.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Off of childhood sexual abuse of boys. That was 16 years after I testified. Citizens, educated people, international, who had gone through this.
Educated people. I'm sorry.
To sex abuse survivor issues. I would never have predicted any of that.
Isn't it fascinating the pictures that they're showing of him in prison?
Nobody
How
wanted to
he's
believe
all
me.
like
cleaned up.
and
Nobody
like.
wanted to believe me.
Let's have to talk about that after.
In the fall of 2020,
I used to live in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding more about abuse makes more people believe them. If they were tried today, I think the most they would get is manslaughter.
I agree with that.
And they're looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, there's an injustice here.
The only reason we're doing this special is because of the TikTok movement.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was because of the series.
Everybody gets to vote on TikTok, and then we decide who gets to go home. Your beliefs are not facts.
That
part.
You TikTok people, I'm armed. We got guns all over the house, so don't mess with me.
I like her.
I do too.
She just tells it like it
That's
is.
what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I think it's important that the seriousness of my crime,
She's like, come over here if you want the smoke.
Yes, come over if you wanna.
because I couldn't live with what I did. I couldn't live with it.
I think it probably would have come out anyway at some point, even if he hadn't gone to him. Do you think so?
That they can live with it?
No, that he would have, if he wouldn't have gone to Dr. Oziel, it still would have come out.
Yeah, because I mean, they just weren't intelligent, you know,
Well, yeah.
criminals.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. This is a long time. Mm-hmm. She's not lying.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe not.
I-
It could sway people to kind of open the case back up. Use petition. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Announced what? Oh my gosh, I missed that last
That
part.
one fast, super fast.
Oh, I missed that last part.
All right, we'll go back to it real quick.
Because I just want to see what it said.
Yeah.
Because I had heard from somewhere that they were going to be reopening the case in next month or something.
Is that what it was? Okay,
That's
just
what I
wanna
had
see
heard. Yeah.
The second last one.
I do need to see. I need to see what it says. Yeah. Doop 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 doop.
Okay, so on October 3rd, the Los Angeles District Attorney
In May. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
George Garcon announced that his office is reviewing and will make a decision on whether it warrants a resentencing or retrial. So it hasn't officially happened.
What new evidence are they talking about?
Well, I'm assuming that based off of the second trial, because so much stuff was omitted, that could have benefited to them creating a manslaughter case.
But how is that?
If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see a cut down version of our reaction because we're only allowed to show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture. But if you want to watch the whole thing with us uncut, uninterrupted, head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Syntell. Become a member of this channel. You'll get access to the full uncut reaction, but you will need your own Netflix, HBO Max, or Disney Plus subscription so you can open up each episode in an adjacent window to our reaction. We'll give you a little time with a small reference video at the bottom of the screen to help you sync up the footage. And it'll be like you're watching it with your favorite pals from the internet. Maybe that could sway. And also, who knows? Maybe the tapes that the psychiatrist had could have been released, or maybe there's a reason to release the tapes that the woman that made the book did. It could be a number of different things.
But the fact
that
that it
can all of a
says,
sudden qualify as evidence is what I'm assuming.
okay, because it's not new. I don't feel like that's new evidence. And if they've already decided that it's something that can't be admitted into evidence, I feel you can't just. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. There's got to be something. I'm not sure. Okay, so here I'm just gonna say it off top. The people in the chat, when in case you're watching this for the first time with us, we had reviewed the Netflix series, the Hollywood version of the story of the Menendez brothers. And from the very first episode to the very last episode, a very vocal part of the comment section was like, this isn't real, don't watch this. If you really want to know the truth, you need to watch the documentary. Over and over and over again. This has been this gross misinjustice to the boys. And now that we just got done watching this, I don't see where there's any new information that gives me any more clarity from what I saw from the Netflix. I thought I was gonna have like this aha moment and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they blase blah'd and messed this up, or this it didn't include this. Like none of that happened. So whatever that narrative was, I didn't see it. I still have questions. I still have doubts. I still believe that a lot of things can happen in the same space. I don't think it's a black and white kind of thing where it's like they're wholly innocent or there's been this whole injustice. I think all can happen. I personally believe that something happened to them boys. To put 15 slugs into somebody's body and face, that sounds very personal. Sexual abuse to boys is a very real thing. I do not put it past that happening. But, also the very real thing is there's bodies with 15 shotgun shells lying on the floor. That happened. That happened. Now, whether it's a self-defense thing or not, that's up to the jury. It's up to the people that actually was there, the why behind the motive. That is still just as foggy as it ever was. How are you feeling? I know I just said a whole lot.
I know. I'm like, oh my goodness. That was a recap of the entire documentary. I feel like it's one of those things where I wonder, it's hard because I wonder if we had watched the documentary before the series, if I would feel differently.
I'm sure, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like there's some degree to that going on in my head.
Okay.
But as it is right now, as it stands in the order that I watched it, the facts are the facts in that they murdered their parents.
Yeah, that happened.
They did kill their parents, right?
We're arguing over the why.
Yeah.
And the motive. We're arguing over the justification of, is this self-defense?
Oh, okay. I don't think it's self-defense. Based on the legal definition of self-defense. Based on legal definition? Yeah, no. Do I feel like they were abused? I feel like they probably were, to be honest with you. I mean, and we don't know. But I honestly feel like in my head, based off of what I've seen and heard, I feel like they were. Okay? Do I think it was self-defense? No, I don't.
Now this one we kind of disagree just a teeny tiny bit. Just a slight bit.
Okay.
I do believe that there is a very real thought that can go in somebody's head that I am scared to the point that whether they murder me in the next 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or they're going to murder me in the next couple of days or week, I need to handle the situation right now. I am that fearful. I do believe that there is a real space for that. But that's still, we're talking about the difference between manslaughter and first degree. And I do think that you can methodically plan that out in order to prevent whatever's going on in your head from manifesting and being a real thing. So it's a planned thing. Well, I forgot what they called the type of manslaughter it was. It was voluntary manslaughter, I think is what it was called. So I think that, based off of what we've seen and who knows what has been left out, I do believe that probably was that is a very real possible thing. But then also, I also believe that they knew that they were going to get a windfall of money as a result of this. Whether it's trauma spending or not, they spent the money immediately. Like that happens. That it's not hearsay. There's literal receipts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's real funny and fishy. So money could have been a thing. Like for real.
I mean, and I'll go back to what you said about the self-defense thing.
Okay.
I mean, I believe that they lived in a state of fear. No doubt about that.
Okay.
I still don't see that as self-defense though. Like that, they like in that moment, like he said, he thought that they were gonna, like their parents were gonna kill them.
Yeah.
So they had to kill them first.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that. Like on that particular day, all of a sudden, I mean, I know that they said that there was a conversation with the dad that Lyle had. I don't remember how long before the actual murders that conversation happened. I don't remember that. But if it were that same exact day, then I could understand maybe a little bit, right? But you had planned this ahead of time. You had gone and bought the shotguns. You had tried to see if there was a crossbow. I mean, I don't know if that part might have been in the series.
Who knows?
Okay,
that was definitely in the series.
But there was, you stole your whoever your friend's ID to go get some guns.
Yeah.
Like, that's not same day.
Yeah.
That's not, you know what I mean? There's premeditation to that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
We're on the same page on that.
So for me, self-defense, I feel like in my head is more immediate danger versus like, oh, you know, I mean, like I said, they live in a constant state of fear. I believe that.
Yeah.
But that whole like self-defense, I can't buy it.
Yeah, and they tried to break it down, talking about the different types of self-defense. And I'm sure there's a lot of legal jargon and a lot of things that we're probably missing. I have to admit that. Neither one of us are lawyers. We're just casual viewers.
Speak for yourself.
Speaking.
I'm kidding.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I find interesting is that, you know, people look at the series and be like, it's the Hollywood version of what went down. There's going to be bias. People are going to tell it and sensationalize because that's what Hollywood stories do. You go into it expecting it. But what people fail to realize is just because it says documentary,
do the same thing.
It does not mean it doesn't come without bias. There is loads of bias in documentary because you have somebody that takes some pieces of footage, doesn't include other pieces of footage, records one way of thinking, doesn't record another way of thinking. There's a lot of that goes into a documentary. The word documentary all of a sudden gets pushed up to this realm of nobility. Like, this is exactly what happened. That is not the case with any documentary, not just this, any documentary. It has bias. And one of the things that I picked up on this is like the Menendez brothers, I would imagine would have to agree in order to have this conversations go on in order for it to be on this show, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they would have to agree. And a lot of times those agreements, the things that you agree to, the agreements come with stipulations. A lot of those things could be, you can't, you know, ask me questions during this thing. It's just a lot of just free thought that's coming from these Menendez brothers, and who knows what has been cut out, what the context is of what's being said. Nothing is being challenged, and it's not just with the brothers, it's with everybody that's in this documentary. It's just this spew of thought, and the creator of the documentary chose what they thought would be like the most relative. So everybody out there is bias. I just need people to kind of like really understand that this is not 100% fact, on the nail, black and white. This is what happened. There's bias.
Yeah, I mean, there's still stuff, like you said, bias, and there's stuff that's still cut out, right?
Yeah.
Like of the 56 witnesses that were on the stand during the first trial, we saw like 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who were the other 52?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
you know
a
what
lot.
I'm saying? Like that's okay. And like, okay, so you want us to show us, you know, them in jail now with, you know, and mind you, most of the pictures that we saw of Lyle were more the ones that were like, you know, and that irks me to no end. That this is how we're gonna like portray, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a thing I have about, you know, the portrayal of people that do some pretty heinous things, right? Like, I understand, I believe people are capable of change. I believe in all of that. However, don't show me him in his Adidas shirt looking like all athletic and standing in prison like, you know, like he's having a good time. Like, which is, you know, so that's the kind of stuff that just really irks me.
Well, and then and what gets me to it, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, you know, I have bias, tons of it.
Everybody
I see the world through the lens of my experiences, and sometimes when I see, you know, a group of people who can easily skirt around the system because of wealth and power and influence, and then you see, you know, the justice system treat them the same manner that other people that don't have those opportunities. It's hard for me to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, because so many injustices happen to people that don't have those opportunities. Do I think is it bad because, you know, they probably should have gotten manslaughter instead of first degree? Yeah, I mean, that does suck, but I mean, I ain't crying over for these dudes like at all.
Yeah, because the thing is, that, like you said, the amount of people that don't have these same opportunities, right? The fact that there's a whole TikTok movement around these two people, to me, is absolutely insane. Because there are so many people that are in prison for lesser crimes, for longer sentences,
yes.
probably in the hole right now as we speak, that probably are innocent and did not kill whoever. And these 2 young men,
admitted,
killed,
yes,
and probably worse things have happened to the people that are in prison right now. Who probably may or may not have killed whoever said person. That part infuriates me. So it's hard for me to have as much empathy and sympathy as some might wish that I had.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you.
That's real talk.
And it's a biased view, and I said it. Yes, I said it. And, but here's one thing that I do. Here's one thing that I do applaud, and to get serious. This is one thing I do absolutely applaud.
Okay.
Regardless of how the Menendez Brothers situation turned out, them shining light on abuse happening to little boys. If this story and all of this stuff has to happen in order to get a larger spotlight on the fact that boys and young men do get sexually abused, then so be it. You know, I might not have liked the recipe in order to how we got to what I think is the bigger conversation and the bigger picture. Fine. I do appreciate that part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I do appreciate that. I mean, I believe any conversation about mental health and whatever aspect that you want to look at it, trauma informed, strategies and health and all of that, health and I was gonna say health and wealth, but we're not going back to wealth. You know, all of that I feel like is a very important conversation. I wish that we could have the conversation not spotlighting, you know, such tragic events that, you know, happened because of it, because I don't want everyone to assume that because of trauma that you're automatically going to just be, you know, have these behaviors that aren't necessarily, you know, the kindest. You know what I mean? I mean, and I do know that there are behaviors that come from, that's a whole long other story. I'm very glad for the conversation. I just need there to be more conversation so that this isn't the only example that we have in terms of like what the outcome could possibly be.
Okay. Now in terms of entertainment regarding a documentary, let me ask you, what's better? This documentary on the Menendez or the Tiger King? I know it's so left field, right? It's so left.
Because those are
two totally different things, but they're both documentaries. And the purpose of a documentary is to entertain and, but more importantly, to inform. Was this as informative as regarding what's going on with that crazy dude with the tigers, and was it or entertaining?
I think the Tiger King was more informative and more entertaining.
I'm not talking about like, you know, just the Menendez. I'm just talking about just in the spirit of making good documentaries. Which one was better? Tiger King was better?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I know folks are like, oh my God, how can you compare the two? No, I'm talking about
comparison.
But that's why I threw it out there.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about for just the style.
Yeah.
For stylistically, what was a better documentary? I think
it was so long ago that I watched it. It was like 4 years ago, but I Tiger King.
Okay, so
from what I remember.
Okay, and for those that maybe people that watch the series just already know this answer. Now, from the Hollywoodification of real life events, what was better? Monster Season 1 with Jeffrey Dahmer, or Monster Season 2 with the Menendez Brothers?
You're talking about the series, right?
The series, right. The Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely. Dahmer.
So the Menendez lost on both sides? They lost?
For me?
Okay, I was just curious. I wonder what you all think too.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought the series was good.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Menendez.
Yeah.
I thought the documentary was okay.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was okay.
Okay. For documentaries, I've seen way worse documentaries.
Oh, I have to. I have to.
So I thought it was good.
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you know, Tiger King, I don't know. I felt like it was entertainment value, but I mean, it was a different subject. So I mean, come on now.
That probably wasn't fair.
Apples and oranges.
That probably wasn't fair. That probably wasn't fair.
You asked a question about this juror, right? Why'd that juror get a picture from the Menendez brother and oil painted and hang it up in her house?
Yeah, I need y'all to explain that. I feel like we missed something.
I need an explanation for that. No, because that just seems odd. And it's so funny that out of everything that I saw in this documentary, that's the thing that stuck out for me. I'm like, why you got his oil painted in your house? Did you paint for it? I'm like, what kind of relationship did you have with Kyle? Well, not Kyle, with Erik?
No.
Anyway, what else? I have another thing.
Go for it. Go for the other thing.
Why do you think that Leslie, Dr. Oziel, and whoever the other person was that didn't participate in the documentary didn't participate?
They could probably sniff the bias and be like, I don't want to be involved in this. And
they knew it would be skewed.
Yeah, they probably was like, I'm good. Y'all got it. You know, here's this quick little email, and that'll be my piece, and kind of keep it moving. And, you know, and there's a reason why the defensive attorney was like, don't come for me. You know, I'm strapped up.
The prosecutor.
Yeah, the prosecutor was like, don't come for me, because people will see this and act in some weird random kind of way. Well, and they probably don't want that drama no more and be like, I'm done. That happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The sentencing has already happened.
And who knows what kind of, because like you said, they weren't in the era of social media back then.
Yeah.
Who knows like what was said about them, what they dealt with. You know, obviously she had some stuff going on with the Vanity Fair writer. And this prosecutor probably didn't have kind words for Leslie either when they, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, she said straight up, I ain't trying to get sued, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
That's what I'm saying. So like, you know, so she probably was like, I don't want those problems.
Yeah.
And Dr. Oziel, we know why he didn't come on this thing. We knew he was about to, Judalon was about to come out from the woodwork and be like haunting his butt, coming back from the dead.
Oh man, Judalon.
Yeah.
That she was. Yeah. She actually looked exactly kind of like maybe how I would have pictured it in my head. Yeah.
When I saw her, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's like, that's right on money.
That's about right.
Okay.
So overall,
yeah.
How are you feeling about the Menendez brothers? Do you want to see them let us free?
I mean, justice is going to do what it is. I'm not writing and signing no petitions. That's not going to get my energy for that. I just think I honestly think the Netflix interpretation of what went down was far more entertaining.
You mean the series?
Yeah, the series. The series was far more entertaining than the documentary. So I guess based off of that, I do feel bad that, you know, their home situation might have pushed them to those events. I guess the real question is, do I think that, you know, maybe they should have got manslaughter instead of first degree?
No, I'm thinking now because they're about to retry this. They're introducing new evidence possibly. Do you feel like they should be?
Well, because I'm not emotionally invested. If they got off, you know, the time served off of a manslaughter charge, and they walk out at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. So, you know, whatever. You know, I'm just not that
invested.
Yeah, because it's there's I've said this in the series. It's like everything feels like it's built on sand. There's nothing definitive for me to take a stand to be like, I'm gonna fight for this or I'm gonna fight for that. It's just a whole world of I don't care in gray. And that's horrible. That's why I like the series a little bit more than I like the documentary, because at least, I don't know, every new episode took me on an emotional, like we had some really up and downs for a lot of different seasons. Whereas the documentary was just like this, and tied up in the bow and then how to keep it moving. Yeah.
And here they are now.
Yeah.
Smiling.
How about you? I don't know if I feel like I answered your question. I feel like I have to walk all the way around it. But
a little bit.
Go ahead.
I think for me, I think because, you know, what do they say? Comparison is the evil something. What do they say? I can't think of the expression. Comparison. Anyway.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
No, it's just something of evil. So anyway.
Okay.
Whatever it is, please let me know what it is. I'm gonna look it up as soon as I.
Comparison is the thief of joy right now.
I'm gonna look it up as soon as I get off this stream. But this recording. But no, for me, I think because I'm comparing it to like all of the people that are probably that are innocent in prison right now. And that they didn't kill anybody. That part is the part that I just can't wrap my head around. And so, like, if they walk out of there, like, 30 years later and they're like...
So you would be upset?
I would be a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to, like you, I'm not going to sign no petition for them to go back to jail. I'm not going to, you know, there's nothing that I'm going to do, you know, it doesn't affect my life, but I would be a little upset.
Oh, okay.
Because there are people that...
Hey, I'm happy that you actually took a stand on that. I wish I had more to take a stand on. I do, because I would like to just fight somebody in the comments. and be like, this is what I feel. But it's
not
no
that.
matter whatever you throw at me, I'm gonna be like,
yeah, that's fine. Glad you feel that way.
I like the series.
Yeah, I thought that way. Once,
I know that's gonna be a popular. Listen, watch the series. The series is far more entertaining than this.
And people are gonna be big mad.
Like, you can be big mad. Be big mad.
You already know. They're gonna be, but you watched the documentary.
The series. The series was more fun. It was more insightful.
Now that this is what it is.
Yeah.
No, this is a biased, skewed opinion that the documentary people put out.
I know. I think most human beings react towards emotion than they do towards logic. I personally believe that. That's why charismatic leaders are so powerful. I think that's where the series wins, because it speaks way more to the emotional side of what it is that you're watching. This documentary speaks to the logical side of what it is that you're watching.
Is it logical?
To me,
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's far. I will give the documentary that it is far more logical.
Yeah, logical. Yeah, I don't know how factual it is, but it's very logical.
Yeah, I don't know how factual it is, but it's certainly more logical.
I agree with that.
And if you're of the frame of mind of understanding the Menendez story from that perspective, then you are going to really love this documentary.
Yeah.
But if you in it because you want to see a really good Netflix show, you can't beat the series.
Yeah, I agree.
You just can't.
I agree. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm still processing everything.
Yeah.
But that's all I can say. I'm still processing everything.
We'll see. Well, listen, thank you all so much for hanging out. For those that are still here, because I'm sure some people are like,
they're like, nope. How dare you?
Done with this. How dare you? I told you, I'm biased. I am biased. So
I'm genuine.
Do with that what you will. Now, if you want to get to know this beautiful lady a little bit better, Mikel-Claire.
Please, no horrible comments.
Come for me.
About my opinions. My opinions are my own, and they're just that, opinions. No, that'll be like in the description. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy. Listen, no, real talk. Thank you all. We've really had such a fun time with the series, and I'm sure now that I actually jump into some of the comments even a little bit deeper, now that everything is done, I'm looking forward to meeting y'all in the comments. This was fun, regardless of how we feel,
and regardless of the content, right?
Yeah. It was fun. It was tons of fun. Hey, thank y'all, and we'll catch you on the next project. All right, y'all, take care. Peace.